The idea of this panel discussion was basically to get different viewpoints on co-creation from people who have participated in this co-creation or in different co-creations, and who are kind of involved in this process. And yeah, for the beginning, it would be really great if you could just maybe introduce yourself just with your name and what kind of work that you do, just very briefly. Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay, good morning. My name is Nicola Pelizzi. I work at the Chiesi Farmaceutici in R&D, and I'm a global project leader for the development of new drugs in neonatology.
My name is Manon Benders. I'm a pediatrician in neonatology and also a clinical scientist.
Hi everyone, my name is Farga. I'm the founder and the president of Som Prematurs. It's a prematuri organization from Catalonia. And thank you to be invited to be here.
Good morning everyone, I'm Daan Ophelders from Maastricht University. I'm a preclinical scientist, biomedically trained, so not clinically, working on large animal models of brain injury.
Thank you, and Dan, you can keep the microphone.
Yeah.
Okay, so you might have seen in the program that we had another participant, Gert from the Netherlands. Unfortunately, he's sick today, so he can't be with us, in case you're wondering. But Dan, so you took part in our co-creation process, but I was wondering, apart from that, as a preclinical researcher, have you had the opportunity before this process to engage with various stakeholders that are impacted by your research? And if so, what was that experience like? How did you find that?
Well, yes. Well,
Yes.
I'm from Maastricht University, so our medical faculty and the hospital are literally split by a bridge. And during my PhD studies, of course, I work with clinicians. My PhD supervisor was a clinician, so that's a stakeholder. But I noticed I was actually crossing the bridge towards the hospital most of the times for wrong reasons, which were good coffee, instead of the patients and the doctors and parents that are there. But during my PhD, when I learned the results of my first studies that showed promise of stem cells, I got to ask myself the questions, what's next? Apart from the scientific questions, but what's next? I also got those questions from different people, and shortly after my PhD I became a father. I had to go to the hospital for a personal reason, so we also became a patient, and that was kind of an eye-opener. That was really an eye-opener for me, and I took the opportunity then to start engaging with parents. So we have these evenings where people that had a child on the NICU can come back and talk to each other. I wasn't invited for that, my child was not on the NICU, but I took the opportunity to listen to the stories of those parents, because most of the times when you give presentations, the children and the disease or whatever are statistics. It's 1 in 1,000 has this and this, but it's not the statistics. These are people. They have stories, the children have stories, the parents have stories, the nurses have stories, and that's what I wanted to hear for me to do my preclinical research better, but also it's a form of motivation, because we spend a lot of money on large animal models. I spend a lot of personal time in these models. I love doing it, and I want to keep doing it, but I need to keep myself a little bit more sharp, and that's why I listen to these stories. Yeah. And ask questions as well now.
Great,
Yeah.
Thank you. Would any one of you guys like to comment on that? Manon, you're nodding all this time. Yeah, if so, grab the mic.
Well, we are working together with a pre-clinical lab, Cora Nijboer, and she's also very much involved. So it's really nice. For the first patient we treated with stem cells, she was there. So for her, that was like very nice to see her work going to the clinic.
Okay, good. And well, then maybe if you pass the mic over to Bet. So, Bet, in preparation for this panel discussion, I thought, it'd be nice to invite someone local. And I will just, ask, have you ever done any co-creation? And then there came this amazingly long list that I had no idea about. So, my question for you, or well, maybe the audience has the same question, would be, what was your experience with participating in co-creation processes or, you know, activities? What was it like for you?
If you don't mind, I'm going to read because my English is really an issue for me. In Catalan, I can speak Catalan, English, Spanish, but my English is really short. And if you don't mind, I'm going to read because I would like to transfer what important is for the peer parents to be listened, you know. I have been I'm now in a few co-creation forums. PADEICS is a group of DEICS, Institut Català de la Salut, is the governmental health institution of Catalonia. And they implemented a care model that is built on their own knowledge. They focus on the health and to the person. And this is why the participation of professionals and citizens in decision-making, advice, and strategy is considered the key element within the organization. I'm personally, I'm a part of this pediatric program, is NEDCAP, trying to combine the knowledge between the parents and the scientists. I'm the member of the Family Council of the Hospital Sant Joan de Déu. We evaluate there all the processes of the hospital that we were consulted about the points of improvement of those initiatives that they could be incorporated in pediatric care. As you know, RECLIP in Spain is a Spanish pediatric clinical trials network, and we are one of the 7 organizations that we take part of this. And another thing that we can do as some prematures in our case is participate in the simulation and teaching committee, in our case in the Vallebron Hospital. This experience has been invaluable in shaping our own initiatives like organization. And the experience with co-creation has consistently demonstrated that its power and in fostering a sense of ownership and shared responsibility among the participants. We believe that involving the parents is really important, and we aim to serve in the design, development of our programs is crucial for their long-term success and their sustainability.
Thank you, Bet. Thank you very much. And I think that is a nice gap to the question I want to ask Manon, who is next to you. But because you're a clinician, obviously, we all know that now. And what do you think, like, how do you think things have actually changed in clinical care in terms of caregiver or parent involvement? Has there been a change?
I think over the years it's more a partnership with parents than you're the doctor and there's the parent. So it's more shared decision making, more family-centered care. In rounds, parents are participating. So as a clinician, you see that's a change over the years. And I think that's far better than being a doctor and it should be like this or this. So that's, I think, really changed over the years. And we even try now, but that's, I think, still a bump we need to take, is if we have these medical ethical discussions in the clinic about, well, when a baby has severe brain damage, whether you should continue intensive care. There we always have a professional in ethics, but now we also would like to let the parents participate. But there you see it's still a little bump to take, because people of the professionals or the care, the doctors and the nurses don't feel completely free to tell what they are thinking. But I think that's the next step, and yeah, you can debate whether that's a good thing. But I think it's more a partnership now than it was before.
And do you, because you mentioned well, the ethics board, or these discussions. Is this something that you discuss maybe internationally with other colleagues? Because I'm just remembering now that I think in Berlin at the Charité, they do that already. And yeah, I think they found it really beneficial. Difficult at first to bring everyone on board and to say, yes, parents can handle this and, you know, we can do this. But yeah, I'm just wondering if you had any exchange with clinicians from other countries or hospitals, how to facilitate this best.
In medical ethical discussions? Yes. No, we actually did not have people from abroad. Sometimes we ask opinions from people abroad, what they think about the prognosis, so that we have a shared opinion about it. What we do is we let other doctors from other NICUs participate if there's more knowledge on a certain topic. So, and that's also changed over the years, because it was first very internally, and now it's more also not only multidisciplinary or interdisciplinary, but also with other hospitals.
Interesting. Thank you. Okay, good. Now, Nicola, it's your turn. Okay. Now, we know Nicola comes from the commercial side, so to speak. And what would you say, what is the value of activities like the co-creation process that we described before for an industry or pharma company like Chiesi?
So having these insights is definitely useful and important for a pharma company, and is something that is looked for. Generally, I would say that there are two kinds of possible benefits. The first is that having the input of clinicians, nurses, patients, or parents may permit to design better a clinical trial, optimize the design, discuss how the data may be collected, find a way to decrease the workload of the hospital, or maybe propose additional services as psychological support for a parent. In addition to this, I would say that even when a pharma company has not yet in their mind a development program or a clinical trial, this kind of inputs may in a way reveal what is expected, what are the dreams, what are the expectations from the different stakeholders, and these may reveal untapped research opportunities, and they open the way to new research and new development.
I like that you said dreams, that's good. Think big, yeah, why not? Now also I have, of course, a few more questions for our panel, but I wanted to ask if you guys down here have any questions or comments, maybe any experiences that you would like to share, any viewpoints. Don't be shy. 10 more minutes till the break. Okay, good. Well, then I will ask my questions. Because I'll go over to Daan again. And yeah, I think in the previous presentations and comments we already heard that sometimes it's quite challenging, right, to actually involve end users in the research. And what do you think, what could be some of the ways that we could overcome these challenges? Do you have any ideas or experiences in that sense, from your perspective?
Working? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it can be challenging for a researcher to incorporate end users, but we're obliged to incorporate end users by now. Every grant funding agency wants you to have end users, and maybe once we should, basically. That's not the question anymore. How to engage with end users? Well, again, we need to cross that bridge. The first thing we do is go to hospital. So what we did is, I'll talk to the doctors, although some doctors are part of your team, but not all doctors are. Talk to parents, talk to nurses. They are really important, in my opinion. We now in our studies incorporated NICU nurses. They are actively working on our projects on the intensive care unit with our animals. We're challenging them to ask questions they can solve themselves back in the clinic based on our animal models. And it's not molecular biology they have to solve, it's different kind of questions, of course. We, as scientists, are going to the clinic. I did internships on the neonatal intensive care unit as a nurse, just to get a grasp of what's going on there. It's not just going to a NICU, look at the baby like it's a zoo. It's not a zoo, but just to get a feeling there. And then there are patient organizations. We have Care for Neo in the Netherlands. There's CP Alliance, there's GFCNI, and they can bridge that gap also for you.
Yeah.
And then participate in co-creation sessions.
Yes, always happy to help.
Yeah. But it remains. I think it remains a challenge. But you have to be open to it and invest time in it. It's time investment. For clinicians, it's difficult, but also for faculty at a university, it's quite difficult due to all the tasks we have. But we need to have not just economical valorization, but also social valorization of our results. It has to be impactful, and I do not determine the impact. That's what the end user does. So that's how we try to do it. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, some very nice ideas there. Thank you. And yeah, I mean, you said that the time is of course important, and I know we all never have enough time, but it's important to make that time and to invest it early on, right? That really pays off. And Bet, I would like to ask you, of course you're also very busy, right, with a parent organization, but what do you think, what is the benefit that you see from your organization's point of view when the people with lived experience, parents, patients, or adult preemies as well, have been involved in the research?
I love this question.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, you know, because I'm going to read now, but it's really important empowering the parents. And when we participate in a trial or in a co-creation, we feel really empowered. And when you have parents that feel empowered, the results are exponentially multiplied. No? But answering your question, when the people live experience are involved in research, the benefits are significant and really, really significant and very different. First, researchers become more relevant. Families can highlight issues that professionals might overlook. For instance, for example, parents might point out that certain medical terms is confusing. You are used to do it that. Leading researchers to use a clear language. And the second, involving families, build trust. When they see that they can input matters, as I said before, they are more likely to engage with research and support its outcomes. And the third one, it leads to better solutions. Combining professional knowledge with personal experience can result in more effective and compassionate care strategies. And finally, it empowers families. Being part of the research process can help them feel more in control and hopeful about the future. The future is a very important word. In summary, including people with life experience in research enriches the processes, making it more inclusive, effective, and grounded in a real life needs.
Thank you. Very nice. Okay, and yeah, you can hand it over to Manon. That's actually quite good, because now you spoke about the benefits, right, from a parent's point of view. And Manon, I think you've been also involved in designing clinical trials, right? Yeah. And how have you actually worked to involve the parents and caregivers in your research?
Like Daan said, the funders are asking for that as well, but it's also really good to improve your research. We have now different projects started up. One of them is an European project. It's called Ensemble, and several people here are also joining that. And we have a special work package, and it's a family advisory council. And it really improves the research questions. It really helps you in evaluating your protocol, evaluating your patient information letters. So I think that's already a big gain. And it's like the whole metrics you just showed, I mean, is really useful from the beginning, during, by if inclusion does not go well, what could you do? But also by the end in disseminating your results, of course, it's extremely important. And also by joining the co-creation, I could not join that often, but it's you learn. I mean, at once we have projects running, like I said, the dinosaur study. It runs since 2019, and parents and some kids are really like big now, and the parents are coming back to our polyclinic and what about the trial? And it's really something I thought, we should inform them during the trial. But regulatory, I think that's a big thing, because you're not allowed to inform the parents just in between. You really have to ask permission in your patient information letter whether you could inform them in between. And I think parents can have a real big influence on the regulatory affairs. They should let hear their voice there, especially for our outcome parameters. I mean, we all are in neonatal work, and the outcome, well, the Bailey, we all know that it's quite a difficult outcome. I was asked yesterday about motor cognitive outcome, 2 years outcome for the cognition doesn't say anything. But the parents should let the regulatory affairs know that what are important outcomes. And I think we really gain there, and we can move forward faster if they say, well, there is a shorter outcome, and that's important for the parents. So I think that's really important.
Great. Thank you very much. And then I have one last question for Nicola. So apart from co-creation, are there any other examples of activities that pharma could kind of adopt to collect input from different stakeholders?
Yes, there are several other activities that may be done. Usually, for example, one key activity that we do is the advisory board. So we have a meeting with experts in the field to collect all the inputs, to have more knowledge on a disease. To understand, for example, the standard of care for the specific disease, and this help a lot in designing then a clinical trial. Another example is the interaction with the patient association. So we also, of course, look for the people that has the real experience of the disease, and that can give us key inputs on what they really would want for the future of the disease. But there are also other activities that are more practical, maybe. But to give you an example, if we have a trial that is starting with a specific device to administer the drug, we also have some they called human factor studies that are studies that has the aim to evaluate with the nurses or the pharmacist, for example, the administration procedure to verify if it is clear enough. And so we collect the inputs from them, and then we revise the instruction for use and the pharmacy manual for the clinical trial.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. All right. Do we have any comments, any questions from your side? I know you all want a coffee. You can also come and grab us during the coffee break if you have any questions on the actual co-creation process or any of the points that were made. All right, good. Thank you very much. Then I think, Hannah, we have a coffee break until 10:30? All right, and it's out there. And if you'd like, you could also build some Lego. Enjoy. Thank you very much.